What is a hard day of training? How do you prepare for one of those days? And what do you hope to get out of it? Answers to these questions vary from person to person depending on your current goals and circumstances. But I'm going to share my answers to these questions as I go through a hard day of training in my No Hangboard V10 challenge. When I have a morning climbing session, I pretty much start off each day the same way. First, tea, and then collagen. Collagen is like one of the nastiest things that I have had. Even the PhysioVantage brand that a lot of climbers rave about, I just think it's so nasty. And I'm not even sure if it is helpful for finger health or not, but I take it in the chance that it is helpful, so yeah. Alright, so then in about 30 minutes, I'll do my finger maintenance workout on my training block. I also use this as an at-home warm-up for my climbing session. Recently, my routine with this has been 3-finger open hand, middle 2-finger open hand, first 2-finger open hand, then half crimp, middle 2-finger half crimp, then first 2-finger half crimp. It totals about 10 minutes and is a good way to activate my fingers. After a warm-up on the wall, I am ready for my workout for the day. My goal is to have 4 routes around my flash grade that I repeat 4 times each. I'm going to give myself about 2 minutes of rest between each attempt, but the goal is to continually improve my technique and flow through the problem. This is my first time climbing this one, so with this first attempt, I'm still trying to figure out which movement works best for me and my strengths, and plan to use that knowledge for the next attempts. While definitely not the only way to tell if you are improving on a climb from attempt to attempt, the time it takes to complete is one aspect that can be measured. And as you can see, there's a timer on the bottom right that is going to be measuring each lap or attempt that I have on the climb. By the second attempt, I have figured out how I want to move through this climb and was able to spend less time thinking about each move and just going for it. I continued to improve my confidence on this climb with each attempt, and I kind of had to because I only had a couple minutes of rest between each one, and was definitely starting to feel pumped by the end of it. By the last one, I had my movement dialed in, and dropped over 20 seconds from the initial send to the final one. Similar to Boulder 1, I had not tried this climb prior to this session. The first attempt is spent trying to figure out how the moves and how the climb works with my body, so that way I can maximize my efficiency and manage the pump that I'm feeling throughout the climb. For some reason, I decided to choose the two longest and overhung problems at the gym. But that means I'll really be able to work on one of my goals for the day, improving my endurance and being able to focus on my technique, even when I am tired. By the time I got to the last climb, I was really starting to feel the pump. I tried to make sure I was using my legs as much as possible, trying to keep the weight off my fingers and forearms. But that did not work out too well. Eventually the pump got to me and caused me to fall towards the end of this problem. The third problem I chose was a V6 that I have done before. It requires some precise movement in the beginning, and then a power move in the middle to a sloper. I was able to get most of it on the first try, but was not able to fully control myself while on the sloper, and just powered out. And then for the next attempt, I could not even stick the move to the sloper, so called it a day on this climb and decided to move on to the next one. This last one is another V6 that I have done before. This one does not require a whole bunch of strength, but it is more about positioning and getting the right movement. I struggled a little bit to remember the right movement for this one, but after a little bit, was able to figure it out and get it. The end is a little funny. The crimp below the finish hold is pretty good, but the hold itself is not. So I hold the crimp and get it with my thumb and match with my other hand. Now that I have remembered how to do this problem, I am able to get into the right positions much quicker. I still could make it smoother, but I was able to relearn the moves and repeat it consistently. Here's another angle of the problem for the last attempt. I ended up only doing this problem 3 times because I got a flapper on the last try. Then, after what I would consider a successful climbing session and before work, I have a quick breakfast, 3 eggs. So how do I decide if my climbing session was a success or not? I did not achieve my initial workout plan of 4 climbs 4 times, but there are many positives to take out of it. My goals for boulder repeats is to improve my power endurance, one of my weaknesses, and be able to really dial in flow/movement for specific problems. The intensity seemed just about right for the first 2 climbs, but I may have been a little optimistic for the third one. It can also be very day dependent. One day I may be feeling strong and that blue V6 would have gone all 4 times, and other days maybe the first problem I would have struggled with. At the end of the day, the main thing is effort, and I feel like I was able to put just the right amount of effort towards this climbing session today. Because today is a work from home day, I head to my office right after breakfast. Luckily, I did not have any meetings this morning, so I did not need to shower before starting. And after a morning of work, I get ready for a run that I go on during my lunch break. Alright, just started my run. This is going to be an easy 3 miles. Doing some 200s on the track tomorrow, so taking it pretty chill today. This is my first time recording while running that I've done, so we'll see how that turns out. So running to a trail that I live next to. It's about 3/4 of a mile away, and the trail is about a mile long. So cross training for climbing, this is more than enough for me now. So yeah, I'll show you the trail in a little bit. All right, just made it to the trail. Pretty sunny out, nice and toasty, but the trail will have some shade in a little bit. Here, let me show you what the trail looks like from behind and forward. All right, coming up on the turnaround point. There's a lot of elevation gain on the way here, so we'll be downhill for the way back. That'll be much nicer. There I am, exiting the path. All done. 3 miles, under 28 minutes. Not too good, but the heat and elevation makes it hard. But yeah. And after a quick shower, I eat lunch while I finish my day at work. After a day where I have 2 workouts, I need to make sure I refuel properly, because doing so is essential to ensuring that I can perform my workouts and recover from them. So technically, my prep for today's workout started yesterday. I made sure I ate enough food last night to feel ready to go in the morning when I woke up. I also did not climb yesterday, so that way I would be able to push myself as hard as I could for today's climbing session and not come in already exhausted. And lastly, I went to bed pretty early, so that way I would have plenty of sleep since I woke up at 5:30. Anyways, back to dinner. Today, I am making some half-poundish burgers and some fresh cut fries. I probably could have added some veggies to this, but I did not have any and did not feel like going to the store to get some. So I guess that is one area where I could have had better prep for today. So anyways, enjoy the rest of my cooking session. I will talk to you again when I finish off my day with some mobility and utility exercises. I finish off my evening with my mobility and utility exercise routine. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want to do in my mobility routine, but I'm focusing on loosening up my hamstrings and opening up my hips. Flexibility is definitely one of my weaknesses, and something I for sure could benefit from doing more frequently. I'm only showing one set now, but I usually try to do a total of 3. The other part of this is my utility exercises. These exercises strengthen some of my less used muscles and help prevent injuries. And actually, I picked most of them up while recovering from running injuries. And these include hip, butt, ankle, and shin workouts. And lastly, I end with wrists, which concludes the first set of my exercises. So, off to do 2 more. So anyways, thanks for joining me on my hard training day. See you next time.